Hello everyone, I'm Riley Haybert and this is my first ever video. And since this is my first video, not everything will be perfect. I would say that everything might be screwed up, so I'm really sorry about it and I apologize in advance for anything not working out. But anyway, let's get to the point of the video. I'm 21 years old and I live in Europe. I work for the SEC, which is short for Silverglade Equestrian Center. Behind me is a wonderful mare I have an opportunity to work with today. Her name is Dark Madness, or as everybody at the barn calls her, Darkie. I need to get her tacked up, so I'll tell you more about her on the way to the pasture. Hello. As you probably noticed, I changed because I forgot to actually record me changing and I had to grab some tack, but I'll be heading to grab Darkie right away. Darkie is a 6 years old Lipizzaner mare. Despite the fact that she's not so green anymore, she still acts like it sometimes, which I absolutely love about her. She is a bit spicy, but unfortunately doesn't get in the way of exercises and routines she performs. Most of the times anyway. Mostly she's just playful and wants to get her energy out, and believe me, she's got a ton of it. Before I tack Darkie up, I make sure I brush her coat really well, make it really nice and shiny. And I also pick her hooves to make sure they're nice and healthy. Darkie rides dressage, so I put on dressage tack. I make sure the girth is nice and tight, and I also put some leg wraps on her with bell boots and a bridle. And last but not least, on goes the helmet. Europe can get really chilly in winter, but since it hasn't even snowed yet, I decided to take Darkie into one of the outside arenas to enjoy the beautiful weather that is still left. I'm going to practice transitions with Darkie today and work in circles with her a bit. She's a pretty forward horse, which can be a bit tricky in dressage, but she collects nicely and is very responsive to aids, which means that she's quite easy to control, but still some practice is very good for her to keep her in shape. I make sure to tighten her girth on both sides as she probably let some air out while walking here, and I hop on. I start on a loose rein to keep the walk active. With Darkie, this isn't much of an issue, and she doesn't need much leg. I start with some easy exercises almost right away. At first, it's just walking a couple circles in both directions, But then I add some circles, half circles, and serpentines, as well as frequent direction changes to wake her up a little bit and make her sensitive to what I'm doing on her back. As I said before, Darkie is pretty forward and she doesn't need much leg to push her. However, I need to keep close contact with her because she prefers it this way and she likes knowing that the rider is in control. Because otherwise she might just start lazing around. And when she's warmed up properly and I can feel her being focused on me and my aids, I start trotting. It's very important that I use the inner aids properly, since Darkie is a dressage horse, and she's very flexible, so I have to be careful to not bend her inwards. In every turn and circle, I need to use the inner aids, so my inner lead and my inner leg, to push her out in order for a smoother circle or a smoother turn. After doing some circles and serpentines in trot, I start doing transitions from trot to walk and from walk to trot additionally to those figures. After those transitions comes time for canter, so I start cantering in a corner to make the job easier for both of us, because Darkie still struggles a little bit with picking up the correct lead, as many horses do. When Darkie is warmed up in all three gates, it's time for more complicated transitions and patterns. Usually, I also incorporate a lot of collecting and extending the canter into Darkie's training routine. However, this time I didn't want to be too much for her because she had a little bit of a break and I did not want to overwhelm her or make her too tired. After working with her for around 40 minutes, I start slowly cooling her down. First with some trot and walk transitions, and then I only walk for about 5 minutes, keeping the reins loose. I also take a moment to observe the beautiful northern lights of Jorvik. It just genuinely makes the winter feel very magical, and well, it's just cool to look at. I'm glad I live in Jorvik. The weather is nice, and Darkie isn't a spooky horse, so I decided to ride her back to the stables. It's almost dinner time for our horses, so Darkie needs to go back to her stall to eat her food. As you can see, it already got dark on my way back. I'm glad I managed to finish before sunset. I really don't like riding in the dark alone, unless I'm in the riding hall or have company of other experienced riders. Now that the sun is down, it's actually pretty cold outside, so I hurry to get off Darkie's back and lead her into the stable. Some horses I'll stir out in the pastures, but they will soon be back as it's almost time to feed them. Today I have to stay and help with feeding, so I quickly take off Darkie's tag and give her coat a quick brush, and also pick her hooves once more. Then I put on her halter and lead her back into her stall. I have to feed Darkie, so I go to grab her food, as well as some hay and apples for her. She did a really good job today, so she deserves a nice dinner, some tasty apples, and a good night's sleep. Darkie did really well today, considering the fact that she had a 2 weeks long break from more intensive rides. Of course, there are still some things to work on with her. For example, she still struggles with picking up the right leads in canter, and it takes some time to get her relaxed. But she'll get there. I really enjoyed making my first video, so I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. Bye everyone!